Have you ever wondered why we have such a hard time trusting ourselves? It's because we've confused getting information with giving away our authority. This is why when we have a decision to make, our first instinct is to look outside of ourselves for the answer. We ask our friends, we search YouTube, we read books, and we look for experts. We find someone who has already done what we're trying to do and ask what they think. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with gathering information. In fact, sometimes we need other people's knowledge and expertise. But I think that's where somewhere along the way that we've crossed a line. We've gone from seeking information to outsourcing our authority. We've become so accustomed to believing that someone else knows better than we do that we've become disconnected from ourselves. So, in other words, we've been influenced. Think about how often you hear, I need a financial advisor, or you need an expert. You should ask someone who's already done it. And sometimes that's great advice to gather data. But where do you fit into your decision? Because you can gather all the information in the world, but at some point you still have to decide what that information means for you. Nobody else lives your life. Nobody else has your history, your values, or your priorities, your responsibilities or desires, and quite frankly, no one else pays your bills. So, when we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for the answer, we can become so influenced by everyone else's opinion that we no longer hear our own. So, information isn't the problem. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get financial advice. I'm not saying you shouldn't learn from people who have more experience than you. And you should read books and take courses and listen to experts. Information is valuable, but information should give you more power to make your own decisions, not less. So there's a difference between saying, let me learn everything I can so I can make an informed decision, instead of tell me what to do because I don't trust myself to decide. We actually never really say this out loud. We just search outside of ourselves and then go, we've been conditioned, especially when it comes to money. We've been taught that money is complicated, that we're not good with money, and that we need someone else to tell us what to do. And yes, there are absolutely financial situations where professional expertise is important, but knowing financial information and knowing yourself are two different things. You can understand the concepts and advice and still make a decision that isn't right for your life when you're not taking all of your variables of your unique situation of your life into account. So instead of only asking, what should I do with my money? Start asking, why am I looking for someone else to tell me what to do? What am I trying to accomplish with my choices? Are you afraid you'll make the wrong decision? Do you believe someone else knows more than you? Are you afraid of losing money? Are you afraid of disappointing someone? Are you afraid of what might happen if you actually choose what you want? And sometimes the problem isn't that we don't have enough information. Sometimes we have too much information. We've listened to so many voices that we've lost touch with our own. We've given away our authority. And this is what I mean when I talk about becoming disconnected from ourselves. We start believing that the answer is always somewhere outside of us. Someone else has it, someone else knows it, or someone else has figured it out. And eventually we stop checking in with ourselves at all. We stop asking ourselves, how do I feel about this? Does this actually make sense for my life? What am I feeling in my body when I think about this decision? Am I being drawn towards it, or what am I resisting? What do I already know that I'm afraid to admit? So these questions create space for you to reconnect with yourself. When you're connected with your voice, when you come across the right advisor, then you'll know. When you come across information that pertains to you, you'll know and you'll listen because it's resonant with you. We connect to our intuition by creating this space. And you don't need an hour of meditation. You can start with a few minutes. Just sit quietly or take a walk or journal and ask yourself what's actually going on inside of you. So you might write, what has been consuming my thoughts? What am I excited about? Or where do I feel resistance? What feels heavy or what feels energizing? What decisions have I been avoiding? And what do I already know that I'm not allowing myself to acknowledge? Writing is a conversation with yourself. When you put your thoughts on paper, even when they're messy or contradictory, you can begin to see patterns and sort out any confusion. You can start separating what you actually think and feel from what you've been told you should think and feel. And ultimately, you are the one who has to live with your decision. So the goal isn't to stop seeking guidance. The goal is to stop surrendering your authority. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do have to be willing to listen to yourself again. When you reconnect with yourself, something changes. You stop asking, what is everyone else doing? And you start asking, what's right for me? And that is where the real decision making begins. That is where empowerment begins. And that is where you begin taking your life and your money back into your own hands.